Okay, just in case guys, my SD card was fallen, so I've had to change it. If I've lost anything, I'm just going to run through a couple of things, so sorry. So what we did, we grinded up our pork rinds. We've boiled our eggs for 5 minutes and they're currently now sitting in cold water. I've added a teaspoon of salt and some black pepper. Didn't add any more. I would normally, but I didn't because these are quite salty. And what I'm doing now, as I said in the last bit, I'm smushing this. So when I coat my eggs, it's going to be easier for me to do. So I'm just binding all this together. And if you've noticed, you can't hear my son in the background, he's abandoned me, so I'm trying to create this video on my own. He will still do my editing, but I wanted to try and video this on my own. So this is probably going to take a couple of minutes to do because there is a lot of minced beef here. And we're going to keep doing that. Okay. Does anybody know about a carnivore diet? And I mean, I want to tell you in the future why I've done this, but I'm not a doctor anyway. By the way guys, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian. And before you take on any diets, I do advise that you speak to your doctor before doing this, taking on a diet. But for me, as I said, the end of July is going to be coming up to 2 years. I haven't been carnivore for 2 years, but I've been on a low carb diet for 2 years, and I love it. I love what I do. I love this diet. It's helped me a lot. Would I ever change and go back to eating carbohydrates now? I wouldn't. I just like what I do. So just keep going and keep going and keep going. Another thing about me is that this is was quite difficult for me to start YouTube. A friend told me a few years ago to do it, and I've been contemplating it over a couple of years, just too scared to do it. I think it's because we perceive people, you know, and I just was too scared. And then all this happened with the coronavirus, and I've been at home since March. I mean, yesterday was the first day really that I got to go out, and I went to Birmingham. Oh my god, I was in pain. I'm still in pain today because I think it's because I haven't been out for 3 months properly, and then I go to Birmingham with my daughter and my son to get some testers from different shops. We only managed Chinatown, and where we live in Warsaw, there was a Slovakian and Polish shop, so we went in there and got some things from there. Oh, I am suffering today. But back to the reason why YouTube, it's because I wanted a hobby. I wanted to do something different, take me out of my comfort zone, and this is why I've done this. Okay, as you can see, after a lot of binding, that's come together okay. So we're just going to pop that to one side, and then I'm going to get my eggs, and hopefully we're able to peel them with no disasters, and I'll be right back. Okay, right, let's get down to it. Let's see if we can crack an egg. If you hear that in the background, that's my storm taking a drink. Sometimes I have good success cracking an egg, sometimes I don't. So what I tend to do is smash them up as much as possible, and then transfer them back into the water. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Right, let's see if it works. Cross your fingers, guys. There's nothing worse than de-shelling an egg and you get all the white starts breaking and it doesn't come out perfect. Oh, okay, I'm surprised. Ta-da! We have success. I did look on YouTube and there was a thing on there to say put vinegar in the water as you're cooking your eggs. Let's just, I don't know if this is it. Let's just see if that wasn't a fluke, and see if the other one peels just as good as this one, as the other one. I think I might have overcooked my eggs, guys. I did want them soft. Oh well. Ta-da! Yeah. Right. I'll be back with you when I've completely done all of them. Okay, so I've cracked all my 10 eggs and de-shelled them, and I've only had two little disasters, but I can safely say putting vinegar into your water but when you're boiling them is a success, so I'm quite pleased with that. Right, the next stage, we're going to crack 2 eggs into a bowl. Try and keep as tidy as possible. Pop that in the bin. And then I'm going to give that a whisk. I can add more egg if I need to. I'm just going to start off with 2 eggs. I don't really like to waste anything. So what we're going to do now is create our Scotch eggs. So what we're going to do, we're going to create our Scotch eggs. So we're going to take, let's just pop our eggs to the back because you can't see. There's quite a lot to this process, so I'll just put our eggs there. Put that there. And can you see just that? Let's just turn that a little bit just so we can see what's going on. Yep. So we're going to get a piece of minced beef in our hand, and then we'll take a piece out. And what we're going to do is going to smush it in our hands and make it quite thin. What you'd normally do is get the egg and you would normally coat it in flour. I'm not going to do that. So, as you can see, make a nice big, so it spreads it out in our hands. And then, take an egg, bring it up the sides, and what we're going to do is keep bringing it round until we coat it. There we have it. And then just keep bringing it round and keep moulding it until we have the basis of the start of our Scotch egg. See that? And then I'm going to carry on, and then I'm going to mould and create the rest, and I'll be right back. As you can see, guys, now I've completely finished those. I've made I'm able to make 10 Scotch eggs, and they are not small, they are very large Scotch eggs. And what I will have 2 of these for a meal, and the rest of them, what I'll do, either the children will eat them because I love them as well, or I will bag them in 2s and freeze them, and then let them completely thaw out, and then I'll put them in my fryer. And I've got an active fryer, so I'm just going to turn that on, and I'm going to set it. I'm going to set it to 180, and then I'm going to let that heat up. And while that's heating up, sorry about the noise guys, I'm going to push this to one side. And the next thing I'm going to do is bread them. Now I haven't used it all, because if I don't get to use all the pork rinds, I'm going to put them and store them for another recipe I'm going to do. But first of all, we're going to get our Scotch egg, and then we're going to coat it in egg wash, and then this is the messy part. Dip it into our pork scratching mixture. I'm going to use 1 hand for dipping and 1 hand for coating. And we're going to keep going until we dip them all. And it should look something, you see guys, something like that. I'm going to put that on the plate ready, because it's going to go into my oven. So I've just been doing it. I think we can only get 2 minutes at a time, but you can either fry them, you can either bake them in the oven. I find now that when you bake them in the oven, the bottoms go a bit soggy. But with this active fry that I've got here, it's a Phillips one, I tend to do them in there, but again, if you do them in there, it does stick to the bottom. So what I do, I put a little bit of baking parchment at the bottom to stop it from sticking. I think that is warmed, so yes. I'm going to dip this one in another coating of egg, and the reason being is I want to see what it's like double coated. So let's pop that back in there and give that another coat. And I'm just going to slow my hands off. Okay, so it's come out of the air fryer. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. It took about, because these are large Scotch eggs, it took about 16 minutes to cook them. So I'm just going to cut it and show you what the inside looks like. It is crispy on the outside. And I did say I was going to have 2, but I think 1's going to be enough. And there you have it. A lovely Scotch egg. I did say I was carnivore, but sometimes I do crave vegetables, so I do have fermented. So I've got sauerkraut, I've got dill pickles, and I've got some kimchi. I hope you enjoyed today's video of our carnivore series. Like, share and subscribe, and drop us a comment of it if you want, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you very much. Bye bye.